First up this morning, we have Murray State head coach Dean Hood. The Racers have played back-to-back FBS opponents, came up short against Bowling Green this past week. This is their open date. They'll be off until October 2nd when they host Eastern Illinois. So, Coach, just some thoughts on your team and last week's game, and then we'll go into any questions.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing. Part is very similar to the Cincinnati game. Thought we played really well in the first half and didn't play as well in the second. Encouraging. Part was we got behind and our guys weren't bothered by that in the least. I thought we attacked the challenges that showed themselves. I thought that was the same way Cincinnati. I thought we didn't. I think we shied away at all from our opponent. And thought we played with great effort, but again came up short, from having a poor second half in both those games.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go into some questions. John, since you're with us, do you want to start with any questions you have?
Absolutely, I will. Dean, I want to expand on something you were talking about at the end of the game the other day, and somewhat of a concern: injuries. Do we have any updates on our players? In that regard?
Yeah, really don't. Later in the week, the good thing is, with this extra time, you want to improve on fundamentals, and you have to practice, but you also want to make sure that you're, getting your guys' bodies, right for the upcoming grind that's coming. But I'll know more, this afternoon and tomorrow after he gets a chance to get these guys out there and run them around and get some MRIs and some stuff back from the doctors.
I didn't see the play actually on a video of Britton's fall that he had on that pass, but I sure saw some photos of it. It looked like a pretty nasty fall he took.
Yeah, it was, the interesting thing is, we're concerned about his knee. You watch that fall and you're concerned about way more than his knee, and he was really, concerned about it because he'd blown out his knee, the year before and just went through that. So, that's one that we're waiting on until we get everything back before we see what's really going on. But I'm just glad that it, was not something head, neck, area. We're really fortunate about that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this week, I guess y'all got a full week to kind of stew over what happened these last two times, and that's probably going to give y'all more motivation and get y'all a little more nasty for EIU in a few days.
Yeah, hopefully that our guys, that this doesn't sit well with them, that we're 2 games in a row. We really didn't play very well in the second half, and going into a tough OVC schedule, every single game and everybody that you play, so much parity, can beat you. So you got to be able to put 2 halves together. And that's something that we got to, get figured out over here in the open date and what we're going to need to do against the IU.
So, Coach, in the spring, we didn't have a non-conference schedule. You just jumped in, you played the conference games. Talk about, that process and that being different. Obviously, you've had 3 opportunities to play non-conference teams before the first OVC opponent.
Yeah, you feel a whole lot better, looking at the schedule and saying, hey, we got 3 shots to, figure things out, all that kind of deal before you get into, what you're really playing for. Everybody's playing for a conference championship. That's how you go into the thing. So, you feel playing the game. Plus, you feel better about the fact, we had our kids here in July and we were, running them, lifting them, doing all that kind of stuff. And as opposed to, last January when they got back and Lord knows what they were doing, laying around the couch eating potato chips for, a month over Thanksgiving, Christmas break, and then you had to start a season. So feels a lot better, going into this fall season, more normal than the spring deal.
I got one more for you, and we'll see if John has not, and then we'll let you go. Just so far, 3 games in, disappointed the last 2 results. But is there an area of just general with your team that you've been happy what you've seen this position group or this position group has done everything we've asked of them so far?
No, I think everybody shared the blame. I mean, we're all when you have a loss, you're looking, you're not necessarily looking for blame. You're just looking for areas of correction. And every segment, on our team, every unit on our team, every coach on our team, including myself, there are things that we coulda, woulda, shoulda, and have to improve upon. The thing that, as a whole, that is encouraging is, we never segmented. When things were not going well in the second half, there was not finger pointing. There were guys, wanting to do better, and we were still out there, having our brothers back and supporting our teammates and trying to find a way to figure out how to do better. So that's one good overriding theme. And the other one is, which I've mentioned a couple of times, is, our guys, the score doesn't look good, and it's 2 losses. And so it is what it is, but our guys didn't back down, from any challenge coming their way. There was no sign of that. And I thought in both games, all the way through, the last click of the clock in the fourth quarter, we played with great effort.
John, you have anything else?
Well, I got kind of an unusual one here. I know y'all played Cincinnati the week before. You had to be pretty glad to see them come back off the mat at Indiana the other day. It makes y'all look a little better, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. What was that final score? I'd heard that they were down and came back and beat them. I don't know what
They
that
beat them by
final-
38-24, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're scoring 38 against a Big Ten opponent that was picked pretty high, this year in the Big Ten. I don't know what Indiana's done, this year. I know their preseason picked pretty high. When you're, opponents you played that go on and end up having a good year or whatever, there's definitely, you can look back and say, okay, yeah, they're pretty dang good. And, we're not happy with the outcome, but, we must have done a few things right to be hanging in there with them till, the score is not indicative of what it was. I mean, it still was a 2-possession game in the fourth. So, yeah, that'd be interesting to see how they finish out.
I also got one more question here about your kicker, Aaron Baum. He couldn't have looked much better back in the spring, and then he starts out so rough. What do you think was going on with him until he hit that one on Saturday at Bowling Green?
I'd really rather just move forward with how good he looked on this last one, because, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's like anything else in sports. It's like a hitter that's in a slump, or, I mean, it gets in your head a little bit, and until you get that, till you get that one good play or whatever that can spark your, confidence again. It's a fragile thing, and self-talk is I talk to our guys all the time. I ask them all the time, hey man, who talks to you more than anybody else? And they all answer, it's me, and I just talk to them all the time about how important that is, in all of life, not just as a kicker, but in all of life, to make sure that you're telling your things, truth. We try to get our guys to base their choices, their decisions, their way they're talking to themselves, all that on truth and not feelings. And, so self-talk's a big deal. And when you miss a couple, it's hard to control yourself, telling yourself, hey, everything's good. You're a good kicker. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It's a difficult challenge, but I'm just, glad that we, were able to make one. And I mean, heck, that dang thing probably would have been good at, 60 or 60 plus, and right down the middle. So good snap, good hold, good protection. And hopefully that's good, equals good things in the future for us.
I saw the replay of that this morning. It was a beautiful kick. I mean, just perfect.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning, and best of luck to your team during this open date. And then we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Okay, thanks.